Hey everyone, I'm Beth Peters, class of '03. Excited to have you join us for today's live recording of the Magnolias Podcast. We're going to be talking about Southern sauces, which we have a few out here for you to go ahead and take a look at. So be sure and share this video, even while you're hitting buttons right now. Go ahead and let us know what state you're listening from, and we'll get started here in just a second. So we're excited to have you. All right. Well, again, thanks everyone for joining us. We have an awesome, very flavorful topic to talk to you guys about today. I'm Beth Peters. As I mentioned, this is my sister, Lainie Stubblefield. Together, we make up the Magnolias Podcast. You may have even been able to join us last fall when we did a Facebook takeover for the alumni page, where we focused on charcuterie boards, and we did a Southern-themed charcuterie board. So we are excited to be back here today at the table. We're going to be recording a live episode, as I mentioned, here in just a moment. But before we do that, I did want to tell you just a little bit about us. I graduated from UT in 2003. I studied marketing in the School of Business. I loved working as a project manager and in the field of marketing post-graduation. And I did that for about 10 years. I worked in the marketing field, primarily in faith-based entertainment. And that was a growing industry that I learned a ton in. I decided when I had my first child to stay at home with him. And about a year into that season of life, Lainie and I were both really into podcasts ourselves. We were listening to several. We were discussing which ones we liked and just sharing all kinds of recommendations back and forth all the time. And we decided at that time that there wasn't a podcast on Southern culture the way that we felt like would be fun to share. Just table conversations of life in the South. And so we started the Magnolias Podcast in late 2018. And 100 episodes later, here we are. So we've just really covered a lot of topics. We'll put a link in our show notes, or not the show notes, I'm used to saying that because of the podcast. We'll put a link in today's comments of where you can find us online, places that you can listen to us. I'm completely self-taught in the world of podcasting, and so I think it's a growing industry that maybe many of you that are watching this might want to jump in yourselves. In fact, I'm going to be hosting a checkerboard chat for the University of Tennessee here in just a couple of weeks, where I'm going to be discussing the topic, should I start a podcast? And so we will put that also in the notes or the comments here. That's going to be Wednesday, March 10th. That's a Zoom call, so it's a little different format than what you're seeing here on the Facebook Live today. It'll be a little bit more interactive even, but if you have any interest in starting a podcast or doing that for business reasons or a hobby, I invite you to RSVP for that Zoom call as well. Also, we're doing some giveaways next week of all these Southern sauces. So, if you aren't following us on Instagram, we're at Magnolias Podcast. You're going to want to do that because next week we're giving away every single sauce that we're talking about today. And then even in a few weeks, we're probably going to do a whole nother episode just on barbecue sauces. So
it's its own category.
Yeah, so we have a lot to say about sauces, I guess. And I think that's all I would say. We're going to probably only be able to do, time-wise, maybe about 15 minutes of Magnolias episode. They're usually around 35 or 40?
Yeah,
so you'll have to just listen to this episode when it comes out next Tuesday on all platforms. Wherever you get podcasts, it'll be available. So it'll be a nice teaser today. But this is the first time we've ever done
a live
recording. So
This is
hopefully this goes well. We felt like we were really brave to hit the Facebook Live record and be on the microphone and actually record our podcast as well. So, but if you're a Spotify listener, or if you like iHeartRadio or Apple, all of those platforms have our podcast. So, okay, well, we've already tested our microphones.
So here we go.
We didn't want to bore you guys with that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think let's get the button going here. You've got it. I guess we already showed you guys the sauces, so we'll turn it around now so that we can actually see what we're doing. And yeah, okay, here we go. Hope you guys are gonna leave us comments too. So we'd love to know like where you're listening or watching from, and give us any feedback on the sauces as we go along. Okay, let's do it. Well, Lainie, we're doing something new today. We have a virtual audience watching us record this episode. Thank you to the University of Tennessee Alumni Association for sharing our content with the great folks that call Rocky Top home. We will link in our show notes of this episode just exactly how you can watch our video component of what we're recording today. But we are here to discuss Southern sauces. So Lainie, you come up with a lot of content for us. Tell me, first of all, how did you come up with the sauces that you wanted to focus on for today?
Right, because there's a lot of great sauces in the South. And so it kind of all started for me. I have a running list of possible topics I think we need to go over. And I guess it kind of started with comeback sauce. I've had that over the years in a few restaurants.
Yeah.
And I knew it was a Southern thing. I didn't really know the story. So this one started this whole beast. Then I kind of started looking into other Southern sauces. And I kind of wanted to steer away from barbecue sauce just because there's so many in that. It's its own thing. So these are some of the sauces that I came across other than barbecues in the South.
Well, yeah, I think barbecue sauce deserves its own episode.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough content out there for us to do that in a few weeks. So, well, you gave me a list kind of go find sauce makers that are doing these sorts of sauces. So that was sort of my task.
Yes.
You come up with the content, I do some of the legwork and just executing of things.
Right.
And so it was so cool to see that I wasn't even seeking out a UT alum. And when I reached out to find companies that would be making the sauces that we were looking for, I reached out to a company called Y'all Sauce Company, and lo and behold, Josh, the sauce boss, as they call him, is the co-owner, and he is a proud Tennessee grad. So
fun for this particular episode.
Yeah, well, I just thought maybe that's just testament to the great people that come out of Rocky Top.
That's right.
We're good people. But I did want to just tell you a little bit about the Y'all Sauce Company, because we are going to be using a few of the sauces that they make as some of our tasting today. So Josh McGee, as I mentioned, a UT alum himself, he hails from the small community of Rocky Hill, that's just outside of Knoxville, and his culinary education began 4 blocks down the street from his family home in his Granny Myrna's kitchen.
So sweet.
It was there that Josh learned the art of good food, working alongside his granny, learning family recipes, chocolate pies, pecan brittle, and chicken and biscuits. He saw firsthand the joy that her food brought to all who tasted. So Josh majored in history at UT with a minor in political science, and he got lots of culinary experience, and he just became fascinated with the fast-paced environment of the restaurant industry. After graduating, he went on to get more experience in Charleston, which is an awesome place to go get some culinary experience. And he now is currently the co-founder, as I said, of the sauce boss. He is the sauce boss of Y'all Sauce Company. And they are based in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's where Josh and his family live. So, again, it was just such an interesting connect, because when I looked them up, North Carolina, and they are. I just didn't know the Tennessee connection. So talk us through some of the sauces that they sent us.
Yeah, so comeback sauce is a classic Southern sauce you're going to see on menus all over the South and even other places now as well. It originated in Jackson, Mississippi, and it was originally a house dressing that was served at a Greek restaurant called the Rotisserie. And so that was kind of where it was birthed, but now you see it on lots of different companies making their version. Let's go ahead and taste it.
Let's taste.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready. So we just have kind of some regular old
little tortilla chips
here. So it's got just a real light color, especially compared to the other sauces.
Yeah, crunch.
Crunch, crunch right in my microphone. I had heard that you could even, replace your ranch with this.
It's like a spicy ranch.
But this definitely has more Creole to it than a spicy ranch to me.
Yeah, so
This
it's
is very
similar
good.
to like a Louisiana remoulade, if you've ever had something like that.
Okay.
I would say it's kind of similar, but very versatile.
Yeah.
I think it's almost even more versatile than, than even a buffalo sauce or something like that, because it's creamy but spicy at the same time.
I like it a lot.
I made fish tacos.
Yeah,
for
you
us
did.
to try it on. If you want to try one,
Let's get those
feel
out.
free. Just to kind of more like something you would actually do with a sauce like this.
So this was something that even their website recommended, right? They had some recipes.
They have great recipes on their website. I think this would be a good sauce to have even on I know
we're so brave to be talking sauce,
talking and
video.
eating, and let's just do it.
So good. Ooh, and the crunch of the slaw that you have on this fish taco, so good.
Well, I like coleslaw on a fish taco.
Yeah.
But their recipe looks really great. I kind of did my own version, but I think this sauce would be great on fried green tomatoes.
Ooh, sis, that's a
Wouldn't that
good
be
wrap.
good?
Yes.
Or even on a po' boy sandwich.
Yeah.
I think that would be. In fact, we had some Creole food recently, and I said, "Do y'all have some comeback sauce I can have on the side?"
I love it when you just bust out some term that I've never heard before, and yes, the kitchen knows exactly what you're talking about.
That's right. Well, shrimp, it'd be great on shrimp. Even veggies, if you're vegetarian, this still is a sauce that you would really like on something like that. You could have it on a burger. The Y'all Company website, on their recipes, they also had a recipe for street corn that had this comeback on it. So,
Wow.
anyway, that was just a few ideas. And
what's cool is on this bottle here, it actually tells you, things to use it on. It has fried chicken, fish tacos, fries, slaw, and more. I saw on their recipes on their website, they actually mentioned a deviled egg recipe. So substituting your mayonnaise or mustard, whichever camp you fall into.
Okay, you use this instead.
Yes.
All right.
That would have a kick. That would be more kick than I'm used to in a deviled egg. It could be good.
It could be good. Well, I'm a fan. I love comeback sauce.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one to keep on hand.
Yeah.
So that you can, just have it ready.
Yeah.
And you can use it in lots of different ways.
I like it.
All right, so that was the one that got this whole thing started. Was
Yes.
comeback. Another one I had heard of but never tried was Henry Bane sauce.
Okay.
Just so happens that the Y'all Company makes this one as well.
Good job, guys.
It was actually, this sauce comes out of Kentucky, and there's a club called the Pendennis Club, and for over 100 years they've served Henry Bane's famous sauce. It's named for a head waiter at that club who spent 40 years working there, and he kind of created this himself as a sauce that would be good on local game, beef, and other meats.
Nice.
So, shall we just
let's do
jump in and try? Okay, so it's a darker brown kind of a sauce.
And did you say this was a tomato base? It looks tomatoey. That's what I'm
Yes,
asking.
typically, now I haven't tried this one, but typically it's a tomato vinegary sauce.
Yeah. Very vinegary, but I like it.
It is almost kind of Worcestershire to me too.
Yep, that's a good description.
Okay, so would be great. I think something like this would be good on meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
That just tastes like a meatball sauce to me. Maybe on a tenderloin.
Yep.
Something like that.
What's it say here?
Yeah, tell me what the bottle says. I didn't check
Steak,
that out.
wings, burgers, meatloaf.
Ooh, yes. Yes, that would be good.
Absolutely meatloaf, stir fry, and more. Okay.
Now, the Y'all Company website, they had recipes for jambalaya that looked really good using that sauce.
Wow.
They had a recipe called Old Kentucky Meatballs and a recipe called Kentucky Wangs. Not
Wangs.
Wangs. I thought all of those recipes looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've opened it, I may be making those.
That sounds really, really good. And in just a few moments, I'm going to tell y'all where you can even find some of these sauces. Of course, you can do it online, but I'll give you some more specifics
Okay.
as to where to get these. All right, I liked that a lot.
Well, this next sauce was not on my list. In fact, I'd never heard of it personally.
Right.
But because the Y'all Company made it and sent it to us, boy, am I glad they did. Because I've already tried this one
Me
and I'm
too.
a fan.
So my husband smoked some chicken last week, and we were snowed in actually, but I had this sauce in the house.
Uh-huh.
So we ended up using it on some smoked chicken, and it is so good. And I would say that my husband isn't even a sauce or condiment lover.
Okay.
And so I was really surprised because it has a good amount of mustard taste to it, to me. That whole grain mustard, it comes through.
Okay. Well, this one's called Tennessee Jezebel sauce. Now, for goodness sakes, let's just start with the name.
Well, I asked Josh, the
Okay.
sauce boss. I was like, why did Tennessee get the Jezebel sauce? Because I don't really want to be associated with the Jezebel sauce. But he said, in general, this is made with pineapple preserves, and several southern states claim this recipe.
Yes, it is disputed as to where this comes from.
So, mixing orange marmalade and horseradish together,
Okay.
he just thought that was something extraordinary, and it is. But he added in Muddy Pond sorghum.
Oh, a local, it's a Tennessee sorghum company.
Yes, they're kind of almost East Tennessee. And so he felt like, well, he had first heard about it, I think, in Tennessee.
Okay.
And so he thought, I'm using sorghum
Tennessee
from
products,
Tennessee.
we're calling
So
this.
he's kind of hopeful that this is going to be the condiment of the state.
Okay.
In his words.
That's hilarious.
We'll see.
Well, Jezebel was such a terrible Bible character.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm guessing that maybe that name came about from, it's kind of has a sweet front, but it's actually deceptively spicy.
It is.
That's where I'm thinking the
That's
name
what
came
it is.
from.
That's a
But
good
anyhow,
description.
let's try
Okay.
this one.
Let's see. So, yeah, I can tell we've hit the Jezebel sauce already. That bottle is much less.
Okay, I'm sorry to crunch right in the mic, but oh my goodness.
So when, it's very hard to taste something that's a mix of a lot of things and dissect everything in it. But I felt like this one, for some reason,
It's like layered enough that you
it's
can
layered.
tell.
You can taste the marmalade and the pineapple and the sorghum and the whole grain mustard.
I can think of a million things I could do with this sauce.
Yeah, you could. And there's almost a million things on the label here. It says chicken, pork, salmon, grilled veggies, and more.
Okay, so first of all, I would say it's kind of almost like a glaze in
Yeah.
that it's like a.
Yeah.
It would be so good on pork.
Yeah.
Or chicken. Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many things you could do with this. But on their website, oh, you know what this would be so good on?
What?
Just like this, just in a bowl with a little spoon on a charcuterie board. Like
Yes,
this
it
would be
would.
so good with some
Which is
like
any
salami,
cheese.
and
Any cheeses,
cheese.
yes. Good call.
And I make, tell you what else it would be really good. I'm on the spot thinking of if you were in the summer to cut up a peach
Ooh.
and put this with it
yes.
and bake some brie and then
Mhm.
put this on top with some peach in there. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, that would be so yummy.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds so good.
But on their website, they had several recipes that look good. I had to mention this one because not only did it look good, the name, Sunsphere pork sliders.
Oh, shout out to Knoxville Sunsphere.
And then they had like a cheese biscuit with ham and Jezebel. And that's so southern, the ham
good.
biscuits.
Yeah.
And instead of just putting mustard, putting this wonderful, yummy, more complicated sauce.
Yeah.
I think that would be so good.
These are very distinctive sauces. I commend the Y'all Company.
Very different, too.
Yeah. These are really, really well done. You can find them in very select stores right now. So right now they're in Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and Georgia. Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia.
Okay.
They haven't yet made it into the Knoxville market. So if you are watching and you're in Knoxville, maybe ask your local grocer or gourmet market if they would be willing to carry Y'all Company. And, you know, it's got a great label. In fact, Josh told me that's the exact UT orange that he made his graphic designer not stray from UT orange
I love it.
for the Tennessee sauce. But they are in this area. We're in Franklin, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. So they're in the Leaper's Fork Market, or in Nashville, the Green Door Gourmet. But you can shop online, and they will ship it to you, and they have flat rate shipping. So go ahead and buy a bunch all at once.
Well, they also do corporate gifts, and if you have a company and you're not sure what you want to give your clients for Christmas, this is the most fun thing, I think, to get at Christmas time, because you're going to be entertaining more people, feeding more people, and what better thing to have than some fun sauces?
Yeah.
And the next company we're going to mention as well also does corporate gifts, so just something to think about.
That's
if
really
you
good.
Not only are shopping for your own family online, but corporate.
That's so good. I don't want to rush our next sauce that we're going to talk about, and we're basically at our time.
Okay.
So we will cover it in the episode, and so if you would like to hear the rest of this episode, I do encourage you to join us next Tuesday when this comes out. It'll be called Southern Sauces, and again, it'll be available wherever podcasts are. Do we have any questions or anything? Okay, good. Well, I would just say definitely give these sauces a shot. If they're not familiar at all, the flavors will meet your mouth with joy.
Absolutely. You're going to be able to taste them and come up with some fun things to do.
Yeah. So anyway, this has been really fun. Again, thank you to the UT Alumni Association for letting us just share a little bit about this passion project that we love doing with all of you guys out there. And be sure and check us out at Still Magnolias Podcast. Thanks.